everyone. Here is my review of Project Hail Mary. This film's been highly anticipated by a lot of people, myself included, and it absolutely 100% lives up to the hype. This movie is fantastic. Hollywood has a serious problem with authenticity these days. I think a lot of movies that come out in the current era really lack a sort of genuineness that Project Hail Mary is full of. This movie is full of joy and heart. It's so heartwarming to see a film like that, a film full of hope in a time where the world is super uncertain. There's a lot of conflict happening, generally speaking. And for this film to come along and do what it does really well was amazing. As is kind of necessary for any sci-fi film, the production design is incredible. Greg Fraser's cinematography never ceases to amaze me in any film he does, and Project Hail Mary is no exception. The CGI is also spectacular. The CGI elements of the film are really grounded, which is something I always appreciate with visual effects, is when a CGI character or item or anything like that can look truly grounded in a scene. And that is the case for every CGI element in Project Hail Mary. Daniel Pemberton did the score for this film, apparently. I didn't know that until the credits rolled, but the score is also incredible. Daniel Pemberton is great at mixing in a lot of different types of instruments and orchestrations, and even like synths he uses a lot, obviously, as we've seen with Spider-Verse, but he always makes it all feel coherent and like it's part of the same film's score. I think he's incredibly talented in that way, and he succeeded with that for Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling actually has to take most of this film by himself. Not that there aren't flashbacks, and I'll get into that when I start talking spoilers, but he has a lot of the screen presence when it comes to human actors in this film, and he's great, as he always is. Ryan Gosling's the man. But here, he gets to be comedic and also dig deep into the emotional core of a character and do those things simultaneously, which is pretty cool of him to be able to pull off. Because for most of the film, he's acting across from a CGI character, which is Rocky, as seen in the trailers. But there are flashbacks, which, again, I'll get into. But for a lot of the film, he's really interacting with either nobody or Rocky, who is a CGI character. And I think pulling that off is actually really difficult. This is completely unrelated, but if you watch the behind the scenes from the Hobbit trilogy, there's a video of Ian McKellen breaking down at the idea of acting to a green screen, in front of a green screen, and with nobody else really in the room with him. And I think that's a testament to how difficult this can be. And Ryan Gosling pulls it off with flying colors in Project Hail Mary. I am going to start talking spoilers now, so be warned. What's neat about Project Hail Mary is that its script is honestly nothing too crazy. It's the sort of realistic, maybe not realistic, but believable sci-fi that comes with like The Martian, which obviously Andy Weir, who wrote Project Hail Mary, the book, also wrote the book The Martian. I guess Interstellar kind of falls into that category as well, but it is that sort of believable sci-fi. The story itself is also nothing insanely inventive. It's a great story, but it's not crazily complicated. But I think that really works in its favor because it's able to nail down the relationship between Ryland Grace, who is Ryan Gosling's character, and Rocky the alien. And their bond, watching their bond form over the course of this film, is the heart of the movie, and it is beautiful. A lot of the film speaks to this idea that if a human and some rock alien can learn to get along, why can't everybody else in the world? But the interplay between the flashbacks and the present sequences is also really interesting for that reason that I just said. There are a lot of tense moments that are really well crafted where the story makes you think bad things are really going to happen. And that's another thing I think Hollywood is lacking in these days is real tension. And Project Hail Mary does that well. What it does even better though is its comedy because Project Hail Mary is hilarious. Like laugh out loud hilarious. And again, I keep saying this, but it feels like Project Hail Mary is like everything that Hollywood is lacking in these days. Like heart, true tension, and true comedy at the same time. This movie's so funny. I think what works in this movie's favor comedically is that, well, Phil Lord and Chris Miller have done some great animated comedic work in the past, like the Lego movie, and some parts of Spider Verse are really funny. But what Project Hail Mary does so well is some of its jokes are such succinct visual gags, and they're just hilarious. Like, there's a couple times this happens where Ryland Grace's ship has to spin in tandem with Rocky's ship, and as he's trying to get it to spin at the same speed, and it's not, and they just show the ships in the vacuum of space, no sound, just him trying to get it at the same rate of speed, and it's hilarious. There's another one where their ships are kind of side by side, and he keeps trying to get away, and it's just the ships moving like this again in the vacuum of space with no sound, and it's so funny. But Ryan Gosling is also hilarious in this film. His comedic delivery has always been great. And so that really is no surprise. The dynamic between him and Rocky is really funny as well. Obviously, there's a lot of jokes about cultural misunderstandings between the two. My only real complaint about this movie is that I think the third act runs a bit long. There are a good few moments where you think the movie is going to end and then it just sort of doesn't. But for what it's worth, what's there is great. I just think the pacing gets a little bit stretched in the final third of the movie. But overall, Project Hail Mary it's my movie of the year right now. I don't know if that will hold true till the end of the year. I think its only competition for me personally is going to be Dune Part 3. I guess we'll see. But Project Hail Mary was fantastic, and I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So I highly recommend that you see it if you haven't already. If you have, leave your thoughts in the comments, and I will talk to you all in the next one.